Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll start with a overview of RT, Research Technologies, which is a division in UITS, and go through a series of AI services and tools that we have that we offer that are part of Research Technologies. And along the way, please feel free to stop me with questions or if you have any comments in the chat, I'll try to keep up. So UITS Research Technologies is has been a long time has a long history and experience with operating on-prem hardware for IU research communities. We are a division of about 100 full-time staff, and our main services include some of the HPC systems that you might have heard of, including BigRed 200, Quads, Research Desktop. Also, we have a couple of cloud offerings, Research Cloud and Jetstream 2. Jetstream 2 is a NSF-funded cloud system for the national research community. All of this hardware is on-prem in the IU data center on the Bloomington campus. To give you a sense of the scale of the hardware, I have a few numbers here. 800 nodes, 800 CPU nodes, which are, you can think of each node as a server. And then we also have about 500 GPU cards belonging to various versions, and mostly from NVIDIA, but also a few from AMD. We also have a lot of on-prem storage that we support, about 30 petabytes of spinning disk as part of services such as Slate Project, Geode projects, etc. And we also have about 80 petabytes of tape. This is part of the Scholarly Data Archive, SDA service. And my team is Research Applications and Deep Learning. We do we spend a lot of time doing user support on HPC systems, also AI services and realms. I'll as we go through the services at IU in this area, I'll focus on realms a little bit more than the others, as that is from my team, whereas I'll also mention other services that are relevant and are doing things with AI models and AI integrations. Yeah, it has been so easy to generate some of these graphics with AI services these days, and this is one such graphic produced with AI. I'll start with realms. So realms is research and academic LLM services. This is an on-prem service that runs out of the data center, and it has two components. It's a chat service and also an API service. You can compare the chat service to ChatGPT. It has a very similar ChatGPT-like interface where you can chat and ask questions and so on. We have a variety of models all running on-prem, including, these are all open weight models that are publicly available. DeepSeek, Llama 4, Scout, GPT OSS, which is from OpenAI, and Qwen 3 Coder Next, which is a model designed for coding agents. We also have embeddings and re-rankers. These are for if you're building web workflows or websites, etc., that need these tools. And Realms is approved for use with critical research data and PHI. The service has been in public beta pretty recently. It's been in private beta for about 6 months now. The chat service, which has been public for longer, since April last year, we have about 350 users for the chat service. We have about 50 users of the API. and we have so far delivered about 1.25 billion tokens, which is probably worth about $20,000 if you're using a commercial service. So this is a screenshot of what the Realms chat service looks like. If you are familiar with ChatGPT, it'll look similar, and you can do similar things. You can upload documents, and you can also attach URLs and ask questions about those specific topics. You can also choose from a variety of models that are available. The service itself is open to anyone with IU credentials, and it is on-prem and approved for critical research data. Feature comparison. I tried to list some of the popular things that people do with these chat services. And the main difference is, one of the main difference or missing feature for Realms would be web search. This is something we are investigating, how to integrate live web search into the chat service, so that, you know, instead of giving particular URLs, you can kind of search the web and analyze the results and talk to the chat bot. Image generation and video generation is something we would like to make available down the road. That is something that we are investigating. But otherwise, it's pretty comparable to some of the commercial services. And obviously, it's on-prem and approved for critical research data, and it is free to use. Now I'd like to call on Matt to walk you all through a brief demo of how you might get going with Realms, the API portion of it. While the chat service itself is just you go to the website and you're free to use it. For the API, we ask you to go to something called RT projects and request a project and tell us a little bit about your use case. And then you'll get, once the project is approved, you can manage your API key on there, and Matt will show you all of that, and he'll also show you a demo of how you might use GPT OSS and integrate it with your VS Code application on your laptop or something like that. All right, I'll stop sharing, and Matt will take it over.
Hello, everyone. As Abhinav said, I'll be kind of taking you through the process of getting an API key so that you can utilize the Realms API. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to kind of take you through the process of setting up a project, getting a Realms API allocation, and how you handle adding users if you have additional teammates who might need access to the API, and how you'll generate an API key for yourself. So I'm using just a demo instance, but if you wanted to actually visit the site, it's at projects.rt.iu.edu, and then you just log in here. And this, once you log in, you'll be taken to this home page right here. I am using a Realms_user who has no projects yet. So if you have not utilized RT projects at all, your screen will look very similar to this. So to get started, what you'll need to do is you'll need to click Add a Project. On this page, there's a couple of fields you have to fill out. You have to give us what type of project it is. Let's call it an AI project. You'll need to provide us some kind of description for what you'll be doing with this project. And one requirement we do have is, in order to be the PI of a project, you have to be a staff or a faculty member If you are, you don't have to fill out this here. If you're not, you'll have to provide someone's username here that is. So in this case, since I'm using a fake user, I'll just provide my own username as the PI, and then I'll select a research project. Don't have to worry about class number. And after submitting it, you'll be taken directly to this page. And this will give you a list of available resources on RT projects. What we're interested in is this REALLMs API resource down here. You click request form. It'll just take you to another small form to fill out. Here, you'll just answer a couple of questions that we ask. I'll just put test for this. And then we like to know if you're going to be using ePHI and whether or not this will be a user-facing service or is just for your own personal use. So I will submit. And I don't know why this is broken again, but from here you can add other teammates if you need to. I'll put in Abhinav's username here and click search. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I swear this worked like 15 minutes ago when I tried it out, so I don't know what's happening. Okay. Here's the project detail page. I will try to add Abhinav again. If you need to add teammates after the fact, you can do this from your project page. You can click on this add users button, and now hopefully it will find Abhinav. It does not, so we'll just skip that part. But it did automatically add me because since I was put as the PI of the project, I am automatically added to the project. And so from here, what you'll see is I have this allocation here for the REALLMs API. And if I click on it, I see there's this my API key, and there's this section down here that also shows who's in it. I'm in it, and the REALLMs user is also in it. The way it is set up is each user will have their own API key. So each person will have to go to this page and generate their own. It is not shared with anyone, and you should not share it with anyone. But in order for us to actually see the option to create one, what I will need to do is I'll go as this admin user. Once the project is approved, which I'll do here, I'll activate it, and then the application requests, I'll just approve it for myself. Now if I go back here and I refresh, I see that it is now active, but the API key is not showing up. Okay. So in theory, there should be something here. Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen super quick. I am sorry for all the technical difficulties that I am running into.
So Matt, while Matt is getting set up, there was one question in chat about REALLMs and whether it is approved for critical data or approved for PHI. The answer is yes. Does anybody else have any questions on so far what was covered?
I'll do this again since this should be working now. So I'll search for Abhinav to add to my project. And from here, you'll see the REALLMs API shows up as an allocation that I've requested. And I also see Abhinav's username down here. And to make things easy for myself, I'll just select both of these options. If you don't select this, you can always add anyone you add to your project later to the allocation. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So Abhinav is in the project. If we kind of look at this, he's also in the allocation. If I go to details, what I see is under here, I see that I do not have an API key yet for this allocation. And to create one, I just click this create API key, and then you'll get a kind of a drop down that says that you had a new API key created. And something that you should be aware of is you can only view this API key once. Once you exit out of this, you'll no longer be able to find it again. So you'll need to save it somewhere. And if you lose it, you'll need to regenerate your API key. And if that does end up happening, all you have to do is just come back to this page here and just click recreate API key. It'll give you a warning asking if you're sure, because this will invalidate the other key and you won't be able to use it anymore. If you click OK, pretend that did not say something wrong, and you'll get a new API key with it. And as I mentioned earlier, everyone's already in this, but if later down the road you want to add additional teammates who might already be in the project, you can do so from this add users button. And so from here, you'll have your API key, and you saved it somewhere safely, and now you can plug it into any sort of, whether it be an IDE, any service that you're using. In this case, I'll be showing off Visual Studio Code. And how it works is I'm using a plugin called Continue, and I have just this base template for setting up a model with it. What you will need to do is you'll need to provide what the API base is. So it's realms.rescloud.iu.edu/direct. The model you want for this demo, I chose GPT OSS, and the provider will be OpenAI, but it will be through our services, and the API key will be the key that I just generated, which will be placed here. And once you've set this up, all you have to do is select the model in your dropdown. I already have GPT selected here. And from here now I can have a conversation with it. I can add any sort of context I need. So any files, I can put this, like this views.py file in it, ask it questions regarding it. And there's plenty of other features that you can kind of toy around with to get the most out of it when setting up with something like VS Code. There's plenty of other surfaces that this can be set up to. VS Code is just one of the more standard ones that people use, and it'll be the easiest to show off. But if you're using other things that can interface with an API, then you should be able to easily set this up within those as well. So that'll be it for what I'm showing you, unless anyone has any questions regarding it. I'll be happy to try to answer them.
So there was one question in chat about, are there any limitations for API usage? For example, rate limits or something like that. The answer is currently no. The service is pretty new, and we are keeping an eye on things, but we are not limiting anything right now. But we reserve the right to put limits at a later time based on a case-by-case basis for specific users, depending on use cases, etc. down the road, but nothing right now. All right, if there are, so this is where we move on from realms to other AI services and tools from the RT catalog. So if there are no more questions, I'll go back to presenting my slides and talk about the rest of the services that might be of interest. All right, so while realms is based on an API or a chat service, if you have use cases that are much more high throughput or compute intensive, not something you would be running out of a web workflow, but rather you have other needs. For example, you want to run through hundreds of thousands or millions of files or images, etc., and have them categorized or summarized, or you want to have the large language model provide you with insights, etc. Then the right platform for that is our HPC systems. Each of our HPC systems, Big Red 200 and Quads, have GPUs in them. Quads has V100s and H100s. Big Red 200 has A100s. All of them NVIDIA GPU models. And we have across all the systems about 500 GPUs. So you'll have a lot better luck getting a lot more work done on HPC systems than via the API, where you basically have you can have multiple connections, but you're limited by the backend. So this is something I wanted to bring up for your reference. Also, there are some things that you cannot do with APIs. You need to do them on physical hardware. For example, fine-tuning an open weight model. If you want to do some training of models, etc., that you'll have to do this here. On HPC systems, we also have many of the models that we've been discussing downloaded and available in public locations, so that you don't have to download all the models for yourself and go through all the account creation, etc. So much of that work is already done, and you can just start with your particular use case. I have a screenshot of the KB article here. You can look up that number in the KB to find the documentation. Also, the HPC systems are approved for critical research data and PHI. Moving on. CarbonCopy is another service that is popular, that has been popular. This is an audio and video transcription service. This is via they use OneDrive and a web front end for this product, for this tool, and this is something you can connect your OneDrive folders with audio and video files that you want to transcribe, and CarbonCopy can do that for you. This service is also approved for critical research data and PHI. And the KB article for this service is on the slide as well. One more thing I wanted to mention was I'm sure many of you know the REDCap service. Recently, in the last couple of months, they have enabled some AI tools and features on the IU REDCap service. This is a screenshot of an IT training page. You can go there and see the recording in full, but some of the tools include writing tools, and also to summarize text data on reports. And there's also some translation features for multiple languages. And then I think it's time for questions. There's a question in chat about REDCap. Will the translate feature translate a whole farm in REDCap? I'm not sure about that. Scott, do you know the answer to that?
Yeah, so it the feature is sort of a field by field feature. So you can, for example, create an entire form where each of the fields has that capability if you want to. But I don't think you can sort of wholesale say do this for all of the whole project.
So some of the things that we are thinking about right now as we get this service into production are things like what are uptime requirements for users of this service going to look like? how do users feel about monthly maintenance downtime, etc. If you have any comments or thoughts, let me know. There is a question in chat: which open source models are available for inference on HPC? Can we do we need our own models? So there is a KB article on the ServiceNow KB website that lists the models that are available on HPC, and it'll give you also a path to the directory where you can look at the models. I'll share it here in a second. But also that we are right now refreshing the models available on HPC. So that KB article will get an update pretty soon. But if you have a particular model that you're interested in and that we do not have already on HPC, it is pretty straightforward to add it. So please let us know if there is a particular model that you're interested in that we are not already supporting on HPC.
I have a question, Abhi, about CarbonCopy. So I'm trying to figure out, let's say I have 30 recordings of an interview study, 45 minutes each. When should I entertain going to CarbonCopy on your infrastructure, as opposed to, the transcripts in Microsoft Teams aren't bad either, although you have to look them over to find mistakes. So can you give us a little bit of a guidance for when to decide to make a project here instead of just using what you have on your desktop?
Yeah, so one thing I'll say is many of the use cases that we see on HPC or CarbonCopy are situations where users have audio and video files that are coming from other sources rather than Zoom or Teams. So if this is a Zoom or Teams meeting and transcription is already a feature and you're able to enable them and benefit from them, so one place that might be a decision point for you would be, okay, Teams or Zoom is not doing a good job. I want to see how CarbonCopy does for my use case. So you can give it a try for a file or two and see what you think. I'm trying to think if there is anything else I would add to that. Anything else you want to add there, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on, how you want to do your data management and how sort of unwieldy or, well integrated you find the Teams or Zoom translation integration. The CarbonCopy offering is, if you have a large number of videos or audio files, it makes it very easy just to upload all of them at once. And it provides speaker diarization and you can have pretty fine-grained control over the timestamps as well. So, it really depends on what you want to get out of the transcription. If you are just needing sort of what Zoom or Teams provides, and you, like Abhinav said, you already have all of your data collected in those platforms, then you don't need to go to the extra effort of using CarbonCopy, I'd say.
There was somebody here with their hand raised. Please go ahead with your question if you have it.
Actually, that was me. I did lower my hand again. Thank you for the answer. Mary, do you want to ask your question?
Sure, yeah, thank you for the presentation. So if I'm using Zoom to transcribe a meeting, does that go into a larger cloud database that helps to drive the AI for them? Does it get added to a proprietary database? And if I'm using something that I'm concerned about sharing data, should I then be thinking about CarbonCopy instead?
That is a good question. I have to go back and check what the Zoom policy on this is. Do you know, Scott?
Yeah, the Zoom, well, there's a few different Zoom instances, if you have an IU Health or a specialized Zoom instance for health data. None of that, and absolutely none of that leaves outside of our instance. But more generally, if you're just using a regular Zoom call, we don't have, IU doesn't have any of the AI features enabled there. And so those data are generally not being stored in the Zoom cloud. There are some settings that you can go and request to have them stored in the Zoom cloud, but by default, those are turned off.
Great, thanks.
Right, more questions?
Maybe one more for me. Do you have like ongoing training programs for this? I mean, you're giving, one session to us, which is, this is CTSI organized, but do you have
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we do have a variety of training options and support options. So depending on what kind of a question or a query you have, we can go a couple of different ways. If you're interested in a general overview of the services, we do have training workshops every semester. We did an intro to HPC workshop. There was an intro to HPC for biologists workshop a couple of weeks ago. And then there is intro to LLMs on HPC workshop that is coming up next week. I'll share the link here. And then also the LLMs workshop will also contain some components about realms and APIs and so on. We also have weekly office hours on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. And you can call in to those Zoom meetings. You don't need registration or anything. The Zoom link is going to be available on IT training. You can call in and just ask general questions. If you have a pretty elaborate question about something specific that you're planning to investigate or implement, you can also write us a ticket and we can meet one-on-one to discuss further your particular use case and how our services can help.
Yeah, that's those are all good things. And I'm going to ask Zach to make sure that we communicate out these opportunities to the people who come here, because they may not all read the UITS communications on this. Last question, is there a forum where faculty and staff can see what other faculty and staff have done with the REALLMs API? Like, one thing that is really helpful in this workshop series is when people say, this is the research project I used it on. We've had that a couple of times, and people are like, oh, wow, yeah, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I can see the same thing being useful for this, because I'm sure you have lots of projects on REALLMs.
Yeah, that is a good question and a good idea. Some kind of a a place where people can share and talk about what they're doing with the service. Maybe this is something we'll think about how to facilitate down the road, and maybe make it a publicly accessible talk. We can also do a invited talk or talks as part of these office hours. This is something that we were thinking about. Office hours every week, right? Sometimes we can have themed office hours where, okay, today, in addition to bringing your own question, you'll also be able to hear from a user who has done so and so with a particular service of ours, and they can present for 15 minutes, and then that will lead to discussion and questions. So that is something we'll keep thinking about.
Okay, any other final questions from the online audience? Or Zach, you have a question? Okay, Zach's good. All right, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Well, thank you, Abhi, and thank you, Matthew. Great presentation. Nice to see the how the Realms service works. And we will be in touch.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the time you gave us today, and I'll be sure to pass along some KB articles and IT training links to Zach, who can share it with you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all. See you.